why have we not heard about the adrenal glands? They disease very infrequently, and I think you'll all agree we're in a very disease-oriented society. They malfunction rather epidemically, which is what we're going to be talking about today. But disease is rare, and it's also such a debilitating disease that none of you would be here if you had it, because you'd be home on disability. It's just, it takes you out. And I think when you see all the functions of the adrenal glands, you'll appreciate that when it's actually diseased, how functionality would go so far down. You wouldn't be, having a normal lifestyle in any way, shape, or form. So we do tend to miss it, because if you went to your doc tomorrow and said, I learned a lot about those little adrenal glands yesterday, and I think mine could use a little help, if he or she, your doc, knew you pretty well, they'd go, because they're thinking disease, okay? They're not thinking malfunction. So I do want you to understand kind of the continuity that we're talking about as regards that. And I'll show you a little timeline, or a little progression line, better said. Okay, that eraser's making me work. Okay, so if we looked at, here's the disease line. And so here would be normal. Those are kind of traditional tests. We use what's called functional tests. The disease line we all agree to, but in the functional tests, they're more sensitive. They give a more sensitive look at various body parts, not just the adrenal glands. So they have an optimal zone here. And then this middle zone is known as a period of increasing malfunction, also known as a period of increasing inflammation. We're going to come back to that word, inflammation. So have you ever been to the doc, you didn't feel well, and they said, okay, we'll run a battery of tests, and they run a battery of tests, and they all come back negative? And they say, hey, you're good, everything's fine. You go, good, that's better than other news. But then maybe you're driving home and you go, yeah, but why do I have those things that I went to see the doc for, right? Has that ever happened to anybody? Yeah, okay. So the problem is that our tests are not sensitive enough, because we have this broad range of normal. So let's say an example, in this test, you'd be smack dab in the middle of normal, everything looks good. But in this test, this same test, it would be like, oh no, we've left malfunction. I'm sorry, we've left optimal function. We need to do something to get us back there, way before we hit disease, you see? So it's a more sensitive look at things. Because if you, well, let me ask you, what would you rather have? You're fine, you're fine, you're fine, uh-oh? Or, oh, look, you've left optimal, let's do something and move you that way, right? Yeah, exactly. So these are called functional tests, and those are the type of tests that, as I said, they're for many, many organs in the body, but the adrenal test that's used for malfunction, not disease, is a functional test. So it doesn't really exist in sort of standard laboratories or specialized labs. But when I say specialized, it's not so